on the Institute as well as our YouTube. Very excited for a Facebook Live today. We're going to talk about Akashic Records, ego, and your higher self. So this is going to be a very interesting conversation, and I hope it's going to open some pathways for you too, energetically and opening pathways, opening new ways of see yourself and possibilities around you. So this is going to be very powerful. So hello, big welcome. I'm going to officially start. Comment, drop down below when you get here. Let me know your name. Let me know where are you watching from, even if you are watching the replay. So I'm trying something different here. I don't know why. I did this live in Portuguese on the Zoom, and I could not see any comments on Facebook. So I'm trying to use my camera for the group and also the Zoom for the business page. So whatever you are, just sit back and enjoy as we go on. If I'm here live, you're welcome to ask any questions about the Akashic Records. I may not come back and see all the comments. We get a lot of comments and it gets a little overwhelming. And we are also, in the background, we have this new class that is coming up, Akashic Awakening, and we just opened the enrollment. So I am on the background recording the second model. And everybody that has access, you already have access to the first model. And everything, the first model and the second model is going to prepare you for a live immersion. And then after the live immersion, we have 2 more powerful models. So I'm just absolutely loving the way that we are restructuring the program. And we're going to get together for the immersion. And it's going to be able to help you to go so much deeper to the different facets that the Akashic Records are. So let me just start with you with what are the Akashic Records. And so many of you may not maybe here for some reason, but not specifically for the Akashic Records. And I wanted to give a little disclaimer that there are many different ways to work with the Akashic Records, and there are many intentions behind work with the Akashic Records. And that will come from the perspective of, how you're receiving the training, and also where you are in life, and what are you vibrationally and energetically ready and open to receive. So what I mean is, when we work together, I will meet you in the level that you are, and the training works it's like it's not linear form, and it's the same way that if I'm going like way up there, I'll bring it back. But it's the same way that you can look at time. Time. People portray time as linear, and it's not. So here, the Akashic Records have so many facets. Imagine a house with 1,000 rooms, and every single room has an opportunity to dive deeper into your soul, into your wisdom, and bringing, pieces that you already experienced, that you learned through, to support you in this lifetime. So, and again, as we go, let me know if you have questions. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Patricia Misakin. I'm the founder of the Akashic Records Institute and creator of many programs in alignment with helping you to develop your intuition, open up to prosperity, and many programs to support you in learning how to do healing, and also how to, we offer support for you in how to clear, emotions or beliefs or blocks in your body that are holding you back in this moment in life. So there's an array of ways that we can work together. And what we're going to talk about today, it's one facet of the Akashic Records Institute, which are our Akashic Records trainings. Now, this training that we just opened the enrollment now, the Akashic Awakening, it's for anyone that wanted to work with the Akashic Records for your own personal growth, and anyone that wants to actually go further in becoming an Akashic Records practitioner. So if you're interested in work with the Akashic Records, no matter for what end, if it's personal or if it's for to help others, Akashic Awakening is the first stop. The first start with when you're working with the Akashic Records Institute. You cannot jump this, as this is the most foundational piece that you're going to need. And also some people being asking, like, I learned Akashic Records level 1 somewhere else. And so you cannot compare, it's completely different. So we have students that did Akashic Records training in other places, but this is different. This is a deep healing journey that you receive the power to go and claim who you are, what you're here to do, and release everything that is not you. And when I say that, all of us, from our childhood, like we grow up with all these impressions and all this, experience that we forget who we are, and we start, adapting to survive. Not in a sense of day by day surviving, right? And this starts cutting off our beautiful branches, and you start putting these masks that's not who you really are. So in this program, Akashic Awakening, we help you to clear all that is not you, so your true light can shine. And we do that through using the technique of working with the Akashic Records. There are many different ways to support you in that, and I found that the Akashic Records is one of the most powerful ways to really help you to connect to what memory that your ego decided to create a story or interpretation that is holding you back. All right, so let's go to the basics. What are the Akashic Records, right? So the Akashic Records are a collection of all your thoughts, experiences, and lessons that you have had throughout your lifetime. So when you look at these lifetime, you will remember some of your memories and you forget some other ones, right? So you remember, you have like flashbacks of sometimes full memories, sometimes shorter flashbacks of memories. But what happened is, whenever you are living through a situation, you're living this memory right now, you are having one way of see things. And it may be, let's give an example. Maybe you was a child and your parents separate, okay? And then at that moment, and I have a memory like that when my parents separate, right? I remember seeing my father getting his little bag and leaving. And I remember that actually I have very fragments. My mom also told me the story that they live in a hill and I wanted to just run, crying behind him, right? So I wasn't planning to tell this story, but just came through. So as I fast forward in my life, like, my youth, and many times I felt like if, especially in relationships, if I was not feeling seen, if I was not, something would happen, and my trigger of, in my 4-year-old interpretation, I was abandoned, right? That was my 4-year-old interpretation about that particular memory at that time, right? So anytime I would have a relationship and I would, something would trigger me, what I would do, I would get my little bag and I would leave. So you see how one memory from your past can many times block you from opportunities, blocking you from, what my soul was really there to experience from those particular relationships, for example, right? So when I understood, and when I was able to work with the Akashic Records later on, I was like, aha, oh, and I was able to clear so much more that came there. So the first important thing to understand about the Akashic Records is the most powerful way that you can work with the Akashic Records is by connecting to the memories where you made very harsh decisions, and so you can release those attachments. And ego makes it's almost like ego it's the part of you that wants to protect you. And when, I'm going to go back to my example. And as we go, guys, let me know if you have questions. But when we go into that moment in life where we are, imagining me when I was 4-year-old, a child, right? I was suffering because my dad was gone. He was going to leave me, right? And there was, part of me thought was my fault, right? And so you create all these stories and interpretations that had nothing to do with me. And it took me a long time to no longer let those abandonment triggers to hold me back from other. And when you look at this, it can play out in so many different areas. It can play out in work situations. It can play out in relationships with loved ones and relationships with family and colleagues, and with business and everything, right? So when you understand how your ego is using your Akashic Records memories, you can stop the ego on its tracks. And there are many different ways that we can do that. So I'm going to share a very important tip about that with you, but I want to talk about your higher self. So if you have worked with me before, you would know that in this work, we always honor your higher self as the highest authority. So, and I'm very, very big in boundaries, which means I would not come out to, even though I can see things, I would never come out to someone on the street and offer unsolicited advice. So here is the same thing. You always want to always honor the other's higher self. And even when you learn, if you wanted to learn how to access the Akashic Records through the methodology in the Akashic Records Institute, you're going to first connect to your higher self. First, you connect to your higher self and strengthen that connection, and also develop your intuition. So the way that I set up the program, you have one model that comes in the first week where it's all about connecting to your higher self, connected to intuition, and then going and doing the practice. It's a very experimental program where you experience through practice. And the more you practice, once you do the techniques to help you, to support you and clear that, you start clearing those illusions, those layers of illusions that the walls that the ego is putting in front of you. And then in working with your higher self, one of the single most important things that you have to understand is that your higher self would not resonate with drama, right? So if you're upset about something that is happening, if you are resenting something or someone, or looking at what is not working in your life, what happens is, as you embrace that, you're going to emanate that energy outwards. And when you do that, it just creates this, it's almost like this, it blocks your senses to actually hear, feel, and connect with the vibration of your higher self. So the first thing that I want you to understand is that you cannot hold two emotions at the same time. You cannot hold two thoughts at the same time. Now you can, however, you can bounce back and forth. Like you can be like happy and upset and sad, or you can have, especially women, right? We can have all these different spectrums of emotions and thoughts, and we can be like here, up here, like right? But you cannot at the same time. You can bounce back and forth very fast, but you cannot have the same. So here, as soon as you notice that you are having those feelings of contraction, which is being upset, being resentful, judging others, complaining, worrying, having anxiety, so you're having a contraction feeling, right? Those are feelings that makes you feel bad about yourself, makes you close yourself off to opportunities, right? So as soon as you notice that, you gotta cancel, stop it, and shift that energy. So open up to look at what is, even at that moment. You don't have to repeat something positive 5,000 times. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about shifting your focus to something that is going to help you to expand your vibration, expand your frequency, your energy. So the simplest thing is gratitude. Like, look around. What is grateful right now? Is the air that you breathe, is having a ceiling on top of you, is having fresh water to drink. What is it? Start with simple things that are in front of you and just allow that to expand. Then when is a situation that comes to you, like someone says something to you and it shifts your vibration, something happens and shifts your vibration. Here's an opportunity to ask yourself, what would be the biggest part of me, how the biggest part of me would react to the situation, how the biggest part of me would answer to this situation, right? And especially if you have a very, if your emotional response, like you tend to go through your emotions, like, you can't make up your mind or something. And so especially if you feel like that's your normal, give yourself space, and stop reacting to something that comes your way, like right away. So you give yourself space. Take a nice deep breath, count to 10 is necessary, and then ask you how the biggest part of me wants to answer to this situation, how the biggest part of me will receive this and will answer to this. And what happens is, everything starts opening up, and then you get the chance to work with your Akashic records and clear that memory. One thing that it's very important to understand about the Akashic records: you cannot delete a memory. You can, however, delete the emotions and the beliefs created through that memory. If you delete your memory, you simply miss part of your experience. And it's more about clearing the charge and clearing the story that you're telling about the situation. That's what's keeping you stuck, not the memory. Because if you complete, imagine that you're walking through a I'm talking in English in the English site. I just had a feeling that, Eliana, so good to see you. Let me know if this is Portuguese or English. I think this is the English channel, so let me know. Again, another day I was doing a live in Portuguese and I started speaking in English, so I got a little confused. But this is the English live. For those of you that don't know, I teach Akashic records both in English and Portuguese, and it can get a little confusing if Facebook. I get into Facebook in the wrong group. Hopefully it's the right one. And I'm going to let you know that the same thing that happened to Brazil, it's happening here. I cannot, let's see if I click on this. I cannot see comments today in the live, so I apologize if I'm not answering you. Just no comments are showing up. Yeah, no comments are showing up, so thank you. If you're commenting, I will be back and look. The same thing happened to Brazil. After the live, I went back and there was like 65 comments, and I'm like, how come they're not showing up in the live? Because I love to answer, we're doing a live, so the point is to answer your questions as you're here live. So I apologize if you cannot, I don't know why I'm not seeing the comments today for some reason. Yeah, very odd, but anyways, once we finish the live, I will come in. So I hope you're enjoying this live, and if you have any questions, feel free to shoot below, and after the live, I will see them. I also have, now I can see the comments. Hi, Susan, so good to see you. Very good. So it is working, no problem. Good to see you here. Yeah. So, so what else? We talked today about the Akashic records, about what the Akashic records are. We talk about the ego and how the ego uses the memories from your Akashic records to sabotage you. And we also talk about the importance to more and more be aware of the presence of your higher self, and open your vibration, open your energy, especially if you notice yourself upset, angry, so more and more of your higher self, you can experience more and more of your higher self. And why should you care to connect to your higher self? That may be a question that may be popping in your mind. So your higher self is your spiritual self. It's the part of you that knows who you are, knows where you've been, and knows where you're going. So it has your highest interest in mind. And when you are attuned and aligned to your higher self, you ask a question and the answer shows up. You think about something comes to your energy as a desire, synchronicity shows up, and that opportunities show up for you. So it's very, very important to more and more connect to the Akashic, your higher self. And your higher self will hold your space when you visit the Akashic records. There are many different ways that you're going to learn how to access the Akashic records. For those of you that are hearing the call to join the program Akashic Awakening, one of the ways you go to the Akashic records, so you can connect with your Akashic records guide, so you can ask questions, have answers, and journey through the many different facets from the Akashic records. Now, there are different ways to connect that you will learn, for those of you. And one way, if you see this beautiful picture behind me, this is from students that she came to me a few years ago. Hi, Heather, good to see you. And her name is Maria. She's from Brazil. And she came to this program, the Akashic Awakening. At the time, it had a different name, but basically she learned what you learn in Akashic Awakening. And since in the program there is a model after our immersion that you're going to connect to your creativity. So you learn how to work with your Akashic records on this new way to work with the records, but also opening up for your diving deeper into your creativity, but as a form of expression, not specifically as art, but as a form of expression. But what happened to her, it opened up her whole artistic side. And these beautiful mandalas just start coming through from this process that she learned. She learned to bring the records around her and express through arts. So this is one of the things that can open up for you different skills, different ways of being, and different ways to use your gifts. What I find is that all of us, we have so many different lifetimes, so many different experiences. And when you tune into the vibration from the records, you are able to download that information that you need at this time. So if you're looking to write a book, if you're looking into, any particular skill, let's say you wanted to learn Reiki, for example, right? So you know so much more. I don't want to say Reiki, but like any kind of, technique that you ever learn that someone can ever teach you, if you tune it through this pathway of the records, you can reconnect to your wisdom, the lifetimes and lifetimes that you are different ways of using these techniques. So it's kind of like you're still going to learn the particular technique with the teacher that you're learning, but what happened is you just as you learn, you're expanding and learning at different levels that download for you what is unique for your gifts and the way that you work. So it's almost like it enhances what you're learning. If you're studying a new language, you can access the Akashic records where you live it in that particular country, and the learning that you're having, it gets ingrained into the intelligence of your body, and everything gets, you start to remember things. You start, just start being natural again for you. So it's like we download pieces of, different wisdoms that will support you in the present. So it's just amazing, and I cannot speak highly about. So let me know if you guys have questions. We're gonna close the live now. I don't see any more questions live, and it could be that the same will happen that happened before. That bunch of comments are gonna show up later. So anyways, we're gonna leave the recording here. Enjoy. I hope you have an amazing day. Today I am clocking out now, and today is my last day of I'm taking improv classes, which is so much fun. This is just something personal that I wanted to do because I'm looking at doing a lot more events. I'm so excited. Next month, in about a month, I'll be going to Brazil. I'm being invited by a how do you say it in English? I think it's a congress. It's congress. No, it's not congress. It's convention. It's a holistic convention, and I'm so honored that they invited me and they are bringing me to Brazil, and it's going to be so much fun. I cannot wait for the experience. And also someone invited me to prepare my live event in the United States. So this is going to happen at the end of this year. So there's so much excitement coming up, and so I wanted to do this for myself, for improve the way I talk. And so I'm doing improv classes, so super fun. But today's the last one, so I'm checking out now, preparing, and looking forward to see you next week. Hope everything is well with you, and I'm gonna send you my love and wish you an amazing day. Bye bye, guys.